World of T-Shirts appears to have gone to St. Louis and is still avoiding New York City. We are not 100% sure of the reason he's avoiding New York City. Some people said he got into trouble with the mafia. Other people said Mr. Based is threatening him, which I don't know. Mr. Based is probably avoiding streaming with him. Why is my face red? Probably from my medicine. But in St. Louis, World of T-Shirts got kind of rude with an Uber driver, and he's with Tony, and then got kind of upset that he makes only $400,000 a year, saying that he is the poorest person in America. Now, that's obviously empirically not true, as he was just in LA, and he is, I do believe, technically Josh is homeless at this point, just simply due to the fact that he is always wandering around the country and never really has a place to stay, and he can't go back to his grandparents' house at this point, simply due to them not wanting him back if he's going to continue drinking.
God, hurry up. I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Dude, you're rich. So
400K a year is a subpar salary. 400K a year is straight up poverty. I'm the poorest person in the United States.
I think you make more than 80% of the country, maybe even 90.
400K a year's terrible. I guess I'm not important enough to make 7 figures a year. Like, why me? Why do some people get to be rich and I don't?
Now, I do believe what we saw there was the Uber driver calling Josh racist. I don't know exactly what may have caused that, other than Josh telling him to hurry up. I don't know if he had said something or threatened to deport the Uber driver, as he often does. I'm continuing to look through some World of T-Shirt stuff today, because he's had a very, very weird day. So this was some copyrighted music, but what we got going on here is that Josh is in an elevator and he is trying to go up the elevator. This happened after he had been told to vacate the property, so they deactivated his room card. Now, normally when that happens, you're given a little bit of time and escorted up with a employee to go there, or the police to go to your room and get things out. There's no footage of that happening, but we can assume that that did happen simply due to the fact that his key is not working. This elevator appears to be one where you do need to have a key card in order to operate it, which is interesting. I've never actually seen a elevator like that, but I think it's pretty cool that they have those, and it's something that I would absolutely, if I owned a hotel, I would probably want to have in my hotel, because it allows you to actually be a little bit safer, and if somebody has to vacate. Now, most people, if they're told to vacate a property, will be like, okay, I'll vacate the property. If it's a hotel, they say, okay, I will vacate the property after I can go get my things out of my room. Would you like to have security escort me there? Things of that nature. It seems that Josh and Tony and possibly Douglas Skates were not aware that that's something that you would normally do, and I don't know why, considering the amount of time that Josh spends in hotels. Even in New York City, he would often spend time in a hotel because he didn't want to get tied down to a lease, which I don't think that that's a good idea. I think if you're going to live in one city, you should definitely have a home, and a place to keep all your things, and a place where you can go. But it's Josh's life, and he can do with it what he wants.
You're taking a lot of heat in the comments about this tipping situation, Josh. You gotta learn this. This guy's out here on a salary, okay?
I understand.
He's got a wedding band on. He's got a wife.
I
at home.
understand, but
He's got a
free
fucking.
should mean free.
He's got a fucking wife at home. He's got a family.
Come on,
at
I gave him something. Like, I should have.
Bye. Thank you very much.
I
Nice to
should've-
meet y'all.
come on,
You have a
So I worked in restaurants for about 7 years, I think, in total, and I have a different perspective on tipping culture than some people do. Generally, when we were tipped employees, we did not want to go to an hourly wage, but in some cases you would want to. It would really depend on what you were doing. Generally, a bartender will get 20% of the check, if it's a large check, or if you're just getting like a $2 shot, you give them $1. You give them $1 a drink. Like $2 shots, you give them $6. $4 for the liquor and $2 for a tip because they still worked for it. So you can make a lot of money as a bartender. And here it looks like Josh was refusing to tip and may have tipped a small amount, and his chat was getting really upset with him, and he was getting upset that chat was getting upset with him. Now, generally, if an autistic person is told about a societal expectation that's a rule, they will follow it. Especially something where it's like something simple like that. I don't know. I don't speak for all autistic people on that, though. So Josh seems to not like that rule and not want to follow it. And it is his right not to tip a bartender for service, which is that's just the way it works. It's your right to not tip. And if you don't tip, oftentimes the bartender has to tip out to the bar back and other support and the busser and other support staff, but that's okay because sometimes that happens. Generally they make more money than they tip out. Generally it's a small percentage of their tips. Could be 2% of sales, 3% of sales. So they're really, if you get tipped 20% of everything, you're going home with 17%. It's a whole thing. But Josh, if he's making $400,000 a year, should be able to afford to tip in the expected range. And it looked like this bartender also was giving pretty good service. And Tony was he was saying thanks for dealing with us, which is a way of apologizing for perceived or actual poor behavior. And generally, if you do perceived or actual poor behavior in a restaurant, you tip more so that way they don't get upset with you. You don't get banned from the restaurant. I don't know if Josh knows that, but interesting to think about.